This episode is brought to you by Walmart. Attention fashion lovers. The Walmart Style Tour is traveling across America with a mobile pop-up showcasing the latest women's fashion trends to discover, try, and love this fall. Meet one-on-one with professional stylists for personalized tips and get a personal color analysis. Plus, enjoy free giveaways like engraved lipstick and denim totes while supplies last. Visit WalmartStyleTour.com to find a tour stop near you and find all the things you love today.
Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
What's up, everybody? It's ImmaLetYouFinish, show number 202. Still can't believe we're over 200 shows. Thank you so much.
I know, and we look good for our age.
We look great for 202. On the Pantheon Podcast Network, you know, the number one music
number
and
one,
social
baby.
commentary
We're number
network
one.
in the world.
We're woohoo!
It's your host, Court and Amy, and we're here in a gloomy New York where I know you kind of like this weather. You know I hate it.
No, it's nice out. Have you been outside yet?
I hate it. Where's the sun? You know me. You know me. I love it 99 degrees.
It's sunny here.
It's not sunny here. It's not sunny here.
Well, there's sun, but that's okay because I shouldn't be out in the sun anyway. It's not. It's not. I'm dressed.
Have you been losing Have you been using the sunscreen that I gave you?
Oh, nonstop. I'm drinking it. I'm literally like
I have to say, like even now my moisturizers and my skin
I got everything. I'm doing everything. Vitamin C, hyaluronic, all the acids. I'm putting all the acid on my face.
I realize that I'm 176. I'm like sunscreen and give me every serum, please. Thank you, please, and really. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe we should. Anyway, you know what else we need besides sunscreen and hyaluronic acid and friendship and the love of a good pet? Coffee. So,
I do love a good cup of coffee.
I do love a good cup of coffee. And so we would like to invite our beautiful listeners, who are you, if you go to the wonderful Strong Coffee Company, so not only is it coffee, which is yay, we love coffee, but it has all sorts of very, very cool, it has no chemicals, no super icky added chemicals, and it has protein and it has antioxidants. And it's so... Coffee, which is already not bad for you folks, but here's coffee with a little extra additional healthy kick to it. It gives you a little extra supplement. If you're a New Yorker or any place or juggling more than one thing at a time, how great to have your coffee fix and a little nutrition at the same time. So if you're listening to us, if you're our listeners, if you put the code IMMA, IMMA 5967, which is a code that means something to me and nothing to anybody else, you will get a 20% off your first order or any order. I take that back. Any order. So you can go to the Strong Coffee Company, myshopify.com. We will post this and you will become a delicious coffee drinker with Strong Coffee Company. Something I could have used today since I'm barely awake. So there you go. Do as I say, not as I do. But Strong Coffee Company, I'm 5967. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right. I want to preface this thing about Chappell Roan to say two things because I think I kind of know. All right. You and I have both had a conversation, and we are definitely of a generation where we're like, shut up, we don't care about your problems, stop oversharing. But we're also not kids of social media. We didn't grow up with the ability to tell everybody everything and feel the compulsion. And we're also not public figures. So, and we always joke around about we're sick of Demi Lovato and her issues. We're sick of all this stuff. But this is a generation that has become accustomed to sharing. And this is a world, whether they overshare or share, this is how social media and pop culture is working. So Chappell Roan, whose rise to fame, even though she's been in the game for a long, I think is safe to say is meteoric. I mean, she went from somebody like, that the gays and the drag queens like, basically, to being a chart-topping 5 songs in the top 20. Every time she plays, as you pointed out, the stages have gotten bigger and bigger. I mean, so she's a massive, massive star. And she has spoken out against people invading her, and I agree with her. People don't have a right to you just because you're a famous person. They can love you, but they don't have a right to physically touch you, that's for sure. She's also been under attack for not endorsing a presidential candidate, which is ridiculous. She's under no obligation to do that, but she has said she's voting for Kamala Harris, but she's not necessarily endorsing her, whatever that means. All right. She recently disclosed that she has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which is, as we know, a very serious illness, and she is overwhelmed, and she canceled a couple of shows, none of which she was headlining. It's important to note, but she canceled a couple of shows, and she has been receiving vitriol from some sources on the internet. So we all know people who deal with mental illness. We all know people who are bipolar, or at least I do. When you see it, you've seen it, but I have students, same age, who, there's a difference between like, I'm bummed out, my boyfriend broke up with me, and I have bipolar disorder. I have a student this semester who wrote about being diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. I mean, this is like serious, serious stuff. So I feel like it is a generation of oversharing. I feel like the more you destigmatize mental illness, the better. That's number one. Number two, this comments about it's unprofessional or whatever to cancel a show. Well, if she found out that if she had a heart attack and she had to cancel, or if she suddenly had appendicitis, would that be unprofessional? She's ill. We can't, I don't know, we can't have it both ways where we're like, oh my God, look at them, they're drinking and drugging themselves to death and then they die young, or someone who's saying, hey, I'm going to take a beat and keep myself sane. So I don't know. I feel like the attack against her is really unfair because she's trying to potentially save her own life. Anyway, that's what I think.
Well, a couple of things. I do think it's unprofessional to cancel shows. She's canceled bunches of shows. Now, I understand taking care of your mental health. That's really important. Then, if you're struggling, your team needs to not be booking you on a bunch of shows, too. I think there's a responsibility to have a proper management team around you to make sure that they're taking care of you and knowing what you can handle. Because when people are buying tickets to see you, they want to see you. It's like the people in Europe were really upset. They had paid to see her in Germany and France, and she had to cancel some shows and reschedule some shows because she decided she got booked on the VMAs and went to do that. So there's been a couple of things in a row, and the election thing was weird, right? Because first she made some flippant thing about the election and voting, and then the next day tried to clear it up. So it feels a little bit like, yes, there's a person who's overwhelmed, but there's also like, you have a team for a reason and you need to protect her more. If she's suffering from bipolar disorder, which is really serious, protect her. You know what I mean? You can absolutely try to schedule her shows differently so that she's getting the proper care in between. You also can hire a social media manager who can absolutely handle, like a lot of big stars, I've worked with stars who had social media manager who handled that main page, and then they had a very private page for their family and friends group where you can be your person on social media and that stuff never gets out. And you can have that moment of sharing with your people. Because I think she needs a bit of separation because she has been suddenly thrust into a person who was playing on B stages, well, like you said, the queens and the drag queens we're going to see, to now standing on the stage and 100,000 people are trying to come see you. There's no rule book to show people how to handle fame. And it is trippy when suddenly a lot of attention is on you. Everybody wants to know everything about you, and you cannot handle that. I've seen it up close. It is not pretty.
It's not pretty.
It is not pretty. So I see where people get frustrated, like, I bought tickets to see you and you've canceled the day before. That is frustrating for a fan because, as you know, we go through hell now to get tickets for things, and they're really expensive.
Are they offering refunds?
No, and that's the thing with festivals. If you buy a festival ticket and the person that you want to see cancels, they're like, well, you bought a ticket for a festival. It's not just one person.
Right.
They won't refund.
Because she wasn't the headliner in the New York show.
Right. But she was absolutely person.
Right. But
they replaced her with Muna, and everybody was really happy because Muna's a huge band. Right. So I actually feel for this young lady because you can see that it is trippy because what I told young artists when I was working with them, I was
wait, when they were gathered around your feet?
Yes, when they were gathered around my feet, and there was a campfire crackling.
I always have this image of
I know you do whenever I say that.
Like the gay griot, sitting there, children, now listen, gather around.
No, but this is what I tell them, and it's, and it's a really hard thing to understand. I was like, when you become famous, you're used to watching other people be famous and thinking, oh my God, they've got this fabulous life and da-da-da-da-da. You're going to still feel like yourself because you are going to be yourself. All of the circumstances around you will start to change. And I said, how some people act up and act out is they're just the true versions of themselves, because now you'll have a bunch of enablers and people around you who will just be like, yes, and make you feel an inflated version of whatever. But you're going to be yourself in really unnatural and unusual circumstances. So it's really important to have a really secure team of people around you and folks that are not yes people who have your best interest at heart. And I think for her, she needs some people now who understand, okay, she's got these issues, so we need to, how we're scheduling her, because we're talking about a record now that's over a year old, right? It's blowing up now. It's like, there's certain things that are going, and you can kind of do some different things and maybe not have to thrust her so hard in the front. Maybe take time now and go make another record. But I think she needs
peace. Very kind. I think you're, and I bless you. Kurt Cobain had good people around him, and he OD'd, and they. Well,
you're talking about a drug addict. That's a different conversation.
Wait. They were both dealing with illnesses. She is dealing. If I do not believe she's lying about being bipolar.
No, nobody's saying that.
Right. No. I'm saying what I'm saying is having good people around you, that is true. But at some point, not to be cynical, this is a business. And at some point, put somebody to go back on the road. Now, if she indeed is no, I'm not saying indeed. She is bipolar. She said a lot of her behavior was precipitated by a bout of mania. I'm going to hope for her sake she is medicated, but I think she's dealing with an illness, and I understand all the other stuff, but I think we need to be aware of the fact that she's dealing with an illness. If she had cancer, nobody would say, stop touring so much, you have cancer. I see both sides, that she is working a lot. She's trying to get her moment, because you and I both know you can have the moment and never have a moment again. Absolutely. I see her very much from what I know about her as somebody who will be very happy with this moment and then have her record and go.
But you also cannot let your artist crash and burn. And it's different than the Kurt Cobain situation. And Courtney, they dealt with illness, and they also had substances. There was a lot of things there. This is a young woman who's newly diagnosed with bipolar disorder. That might not be the best situation to say, okay, we got this diagnosis now. There's 55,000 people out there today.
Right.
Go stand there and sing.
Which is why she canceled.
Yes,
which is why
but this wasn't the first show that she's canceled. So they need to figure something out. As somebody who worked in management, listen, no one wants to turn down money, because you do understand. Like Kylie Minogue with Padam, and she was like, they were asking, what's next? She's like, well, I'm not stopping right now because I've been in this industry a long time, and I understand when you catch a wave that's high again, you have to ride it. You can't let it crash. Lil Nas X is finding that out. When you let the wave crest and crash to shore, you think the next one is going to be higher, and now you find yourself having to rebuild and hope trying to catch something that high. So I understand what you mean. It's like, oh my God, you're having this moment. But if you see somebody really struggling and suffering in the moment, the human nature part, especially when we're talking about, like, you know, it's mental, like you said, like if somebody said she had, and we've heard artists having cancer or an illness, they're allowed to have that moment to gather themselves.
Right.
No one makes you feel like, well, work through it. And I think for her, she just needs a team to be like, they have to figure out how to structure her working schedule, because you can still have both of those things so that she's in a healthier place and she can work and be productive and fruitful and not crash and burn. Because it's hard, man. Fame is hard. Going out there now, like you hit on something on the head that's very true. They grew up with social media, so they don't know a world without it. So for us, we could be like, turn it off. For them, life is through that. They have no idea. It's
social media is their socialization. The only thing I would ask, and I agree with you, I think we're in agreement basically. The only thing I would ask is that people not be so judgmental and nasty about it. This girl is dealing with mental illness. Whether it's unprofessional or professional, I'm just saying, let's just to use an expression I cannot stand, a little grace. The woman is dealing, it's a serious disease. We've all seen people deal with it. That's all I'm saying. Let her have, the world will go on if she cancels shows. I think her fans, if they're real fans, will understand. You're saying this other act came in. Give her a minute. And I think she will take that minute. Because we don't want to see another. We don't need to see another. We don't need to see another. Oh, and then she ended up somewhere and we're like, oh man, why didn't she? You know, we've all seen that movie.
Listen, look at what Fame did in that heightened celebrity, and 2 kids back to back did to Britney Spears. We're still watching her be in a state where the one that everybody fell in love with is that woman is gone. She is a different person because of that. It's real. Fame, I don't think people realize, man. I've seen like the obsessive part of Fame, and I think that is why Beyonce is the way she is and so private, because when people are really obsessed with you, and if you live out front in that, and you can start to believe your own press and stuff, it's just, you know, I have grace for her, because it's not easy. It's really, 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 really tough. And the pressure is really hard. And I just don't think the people who've never worked in this industry understand just how hard that is.
Well, like I said, I agree. I just want people to be less judgmental about when someone says they have mental illness.
Right.
This is not, like I said, I am as cynical as the next. I deal with college students all the time, like, oh, professor, I'm really stressed out. Yeah, no shit, you're stressed out. Okay. Right. No shit, I'm stressed. You're stressed out? I'm stressed out. There's a big difference between I'm stressed out and I went to a doctor, I received a diagnosis of bipolar. So I just think life will go on. She'll go on. Everybody will forget about this. I just hope she's healthy and okay. And that's all I really want. I mean, she seems like a nice person. She's super talented. And I hope everything works out well for her. And that's it. I think that's what we all hope, is that, but just everybody needs social media. And, social media is a great thing. We talk about this all the time, but it is also like, your opinion is not that interesting. I include my own in that too. Like, everybody can just take a breath and go, is it not that? I find myself if I'm responding to something, if it takes me more than one sentence to say it, I'm not even saying it, because it's like, oh my God, I'm writing a book here. Who cares? Right. Like, really, who freaking cares? Okay, something I care about deeply, as you know, is Oasis.
I thought of you immediately.
Thank you very much. They're playing. I mean, I'm not going to be able to go to the shows. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to be able. And they're in Jersey.
They're not doing dynamic pricing, so you might be able to afford a ticket.
Yeah. I'm saving my money for basketball tickets, which we'll take later. No. They have announced international dates. It's always funny when Americans go, international dates, we're the United States. Not if you're from England. We're international. So they're playing a lot of places, Mexico City, Toronto, because North America, kids, remember, includes Canada and, Mexico. They're playing Jersey, They're playing. They say it's Detroit, but it's not actually Detroit. But they're playing a few key dates in the United States. I would not be surprised if the tour is successful, which we know it's going to be.
First of all, you know it's going to be multiple nights in a bunch of these cities. You see how they're spaced. There's no way they're only playing one night at Met. No, they're playing MetLife. They're doing
but I'm saying there's no way they don't do another show in the New York area.
There's no way that they're not doing at least 2 to 3 shows here. I have a feeling when those tickets go on sale this week, they're going to be like 2 more shows at it. There's just no way.
Right.
You don't mount a tour that. You don't amount a show that big and say, I'm just going to come for one night. Even Blackpink played 2 nights in MetLife.
I know. I mean, there's 4 stadiums in the New York tri-state area. Mm-hmm. You know, there's...
No, arenas. There's 1 stadium.
Okay, arena. But the point... Okay, venues. Big venues. There's 3... Brooklyn, Long Island, Manhattan, and then Jersey. So there's,
Well, no, if you go in New York alone, we have... If we're not talking about, because when everybody does a stadium tour, they go to MetLife. But in New York alone, we now have Nassau Coliseum, USB, which is the newest one. Is the
Coliseum still being used for shows?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
They did a revamp. It is. So you got the Coliseum, you got USB in Belmar, then Barclays and the Garden. It's kind of crazy that you could support all of those, but that's how busy this area is with shows.
No, and they'll sell out. The show, they're going to sell out that stadium in an hour.
Yeah.
In an hour.
Especially now that people know that there's no dynamic pricing. So what the ticket price says, everybody's going to want it before they get snatched up by the bots. And can I just say this? And I know we've talked about this all the time. The fact that Ticketmaster is allowed to sell the tickets, then resell you the tickets at an inflated, verified resale price.
And then basically run the venue, too.
And then run the venue is...
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
In what universe is that okay?
I mean, I didn't study economics, but that seems like a monopoly to me.
It's like you sit back, you're on at the time the tickets go on sale. Next thing you know, you're pushed to, this is a verified resale ticket. I'm like, why is that should not allowed to just be a business?
Well, I will give Oasis credit for this, and I'm stealing this from somebody else. At least they spoke out against the dynamic pricing, as opposed to some other legend acts in the United States who were just like, oh, well, that's what everybody else is doing. I'm going to do it too.
Wait, and one in particular was like, well, we need to make money. And it was like, you're saying that?
Are we talking about the boss?
You're saying that?
I know.
I'm like, I didn't realize you were broke, sir.
Yeah, you just sold your catalog. All right, but I think it's going to be, I think everybody has calmed their monkey ass down about, I hate Oasis, I don't hate Oasis.
Well, that was the UK people who seem to like it. The American kids are going to be like, give me tickets.
Yeah, no, it's going to sell out. The big interesting thing will be who's the opening act. I mean, that'll be interesting.
I kind of feel like I should go see them just so I can say that I saw them.
No, you should.
I like event shows, you know what I mean? I'm not always a fan of people that I go see. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like I need to see this person so I can say I saw them.
I mean, like I said, I saw them a really long time ago. I saw them at the Academy, which is a small venue. They were great. I mean, if you want to see a rock band, they are a rock band. They are going to give you anthems. They are going to give you the dynamic. Liam Gallagher has been They've both been performing these songs for years.
And that's the thing. So it's not like, oh, are they going to be rusty? They've both been on the road and touring with their band, so it's probably going to be really kick-ass and a lot of energy.
I think Liam Gallagher, in fact, has he plays in the United States. He played like the Paramount with one of the guys from Stone Roses. But he sells out huge venues. They're huge. I mean, it's like it's like if people are comparing it like with the whole like Jane's Addiction getting back together in those fights. Oasis was a bigger band than Jane's Addiction. Sorry, no disrespect to Jane's Addiction.
Absolutely.
Oasis was a massive, massive band. Jane's Addiction was a big band where they never had the impact that Oasis did. And
Oasis had more hits than Jane's.
Way more hits, way more albums. And Oasis
it wasn't Porno for Pyros like an offshoot of Jane's.
Like an offshoot, right. But the point is that the problem with the Gallagher brothers in terms of, they just didn't get along with each other. They're not, they're sober now, and they've just decided whatever. No one's saying you have to be, name me a band where everybody touring and get along with each other.
I will say this. I do, one of my favorite things is straight men that read like queens. Those Gallagher brothers, between them and 50 Cent and Chris Brown, who I know you don't like, those kids, they read like queens.
Chris Brown, let me tell you something. 50 Cent is the prophet of our times. 50 Cent is literally,
baby, he does not skip a beat, and he's like, it's lightning fast. It's like, pow, pow, pow.
No, he reads like a queen because he is from Queens. But boom. Right. He's, if you ever want to amuse yourself, he's a prophet.
He doesn't skip a beat. It's super shady.
It's super shady,
but sometimes it's like,
it's on the money,
you're not wrong.
No, it's
you know what I mean.
It's like
that's the part that gets it. It's like, he's not lying.
That comedian, that really cute young black comedian, John. Oh, he's
Jared
adorable.
Carmichael.
No, cute.
Yeah, I can't take it.
All right. No, this man appears to be a heterosexual. He wrote for The Daily Show. He's on The Daily Show, and he always wears like a hoodie. He's very, very funny. He has like a 20-minute routine about 50 Cent that is just like to die for, because he said this man does the work. It's not that he hates you. He then goes, this will be my life project to do. When you buy out the first 4 rows of a Ja Rule comeback show so that Ja Rule comes out there and there's no one in the first 4 rows, that, my friend,
the petty.
No, that is a masterclass.
Be that petty.
That is not even petty. That is genius. That is like evil Boris Badenoff genius. I hate you so much, I'm going to make you think you sold out an arena, gets to venue, where is everybody? Oh, I bought all the tickets. I was like, oh my God, that's the best thing I ever heard, unless you're, of course, Ja Rule. Yeah. And then it's not so good. But if you're not Ja Rule and you're 50 Cent, he's just got that kind of fuck you money that, you know what I mean? When you have fuck you money, you can just be that guy. And you know who's really good friends with him? I think I told you is our buddy Self. DJ Self is like pals with him. Mm-hmm. I need to get some dish from Terrence. I need to find him. All right. Speaking of nasty little short men who are in trouble.
Oh,
Adam, last week was, I don't know if you guys were feeling the pep in my step. Last Thursday was International Eric Idams Indictment Day, and I was a happy little girl. And I can't believe you said I have a bone to pick. We were hip to him once he got elected mayor. I was hip to him when he was in 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement. Who are you kidding? Come on. I
wasn't paying attention, and he was in Brooklyn, and he was the like your Brooklyn politics. So I never.
No,
really paid
he was
attention
he was a state senator. He was under ethics and violations.
That part.
Yes, you know why? You know what's really funny?
Getting that.
He always leaves that out of his bio
because
he was under. He's like, I was a cop, and then I was a borough president.
He never talks about that
because he was under ethics violations the entire time he was there. Like, who's a state senator and they're running for an office and says, "Oh no, I was just in Albany with Albany." Yeah, he's horrible. I can't wait till he goes away. It's just such a stupid level. He has email and text, and I've been on Turkish Airlines, so I got to tell you, Turkish Airlines, even steerage class, as I travel on, is quite fabulous. So I can only imagine what business and first class is like, because steerage class, the food is fantastic, and the stewards have little like little hats with little veils, and they're really cute, and you can watch the Quran channel, and he's going down, baby. He is dead in the water.
He doesn't seem to think so.
Well, if the election was held tomorrow, his ass would be out there. It's in a year. I think there's too many people quitting all around him.
Another one quit this morning.
Today. Yeah, another one. Also, no, there's too many people quitting.
It's like, why is everybody in your administration? And they're like, and some of these investigations have nothing to do with the one that you're a part of.
Right.
This just wait, what about the two? The one who was like the fundraiser.
They got married.
They rushed and got married.
That was like so they don't have to testify against each other.
It's like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, what have y'all been doing?
And they seized the phone of his like witchy poo, that woman that runs basically who's the mayor, this woman that none of us. When they seize your, again, my vast knowledge of law enforcement comes from watching
TV. You did not bring out Sid Marty Croft's witchy poo.
Witchy poo. Am I wrong? Is witchy poo a great analogy?
I mean, kind of, sort of. Mm-hmm.
Witchy poo. It sounds good. Witchy poo. And you don't even have to know who witchy poo is. As soon as you say witchy poo. Anyway, when they seize your phones, from my vast knowledge of law enforcement, which comes from watching television, you're dead. This is the Southern District of New York. They don't play.
My favorite is
they don't play.
I have a new phone. I don't know the password. Really? Is it something in Turkish? Is it something in Turkish? And you were trying to erase emails. It's like, was that an accident too? It's like, you're so scummy. And then these press conferences he keeps doing, he's like, they're trying to take me down, but I'm going to rise up. I'm like, sir, no one likes you.
Well, as you and I said, we spoke, as soon as you do a press conference, if you're a black politician in the city and you're literally draping yourself in the black clergy, guilty.
That's how I thought. As soon as I saw it, I was like, here comes the guilty party. Here he comes.
Here they come. No, the whole thing is just absolutely pathetic and ridiculous. And he's the first time a New York City mayor has ever been indicted. And we've had some sleazy people. And if you want to know how dirty he was as the borough president, because this is when this is all alleged to have started, there's an article in the Times today about the man who is the new borough president, Antonio Reynoso, who I voted for, is very adorable and very nice. And he was being offered gifts from the Turkish government, too. And he was like, yeah, I don't think I can take these. And they were like, oh, can you fly the flag of, boogie lost, whatever. And he's like, yeah, it's actually against the city charter to fly another flag above a city building. And Adam's witchy poo was like, and he was like, yeah, I don't think I can do that, actually. It's again, I will. And he returned gold-plated tea sets from the Turkish government, and said, yeah, thanks, I can't take these. So guilty, cannot wait. And
with that, we're going to take a quick break.
Yay, take a break.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. Attention fashion lovers. The Walmart Style Tour is traveling across America with a mobile pop-up showcasing the latest women's fashion trends to discover, try, and love this fall. Meet one-on-one with professional stylists for personalized tips and get a personal color analysis. Plus, enjoy free giveaways like engraved lipstick and denim totes while supplies last. Visit WalmartStyleTour.com to find a tour stop near you and find all the things you love today.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever thought about something new you'd love to learn? As adults, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind, and sometimes we forget to make time for new experiences. Remember when we were kids and learning was part of everyday life? Now it feels like we're always in work mode. But what if we could tap into that curiosity again? Whether it's learning how to garden, picking up a new language, or finally beating your friend in your fantasy football league, there's so much out there to explore. Therapy can help you reconnect with that childlike sense of wonder. I know for me, therapy has been a great way to learn about myself, set healthy boundaries, and develop positive habits. It's not just for times of crisis. It's about growing and becoming the best version of yourself. I know I am more in tune with both my positive self, which I highlight, and my negative self, which I'm working to minimize since I began working with my BetterHelp therapist. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. It's fully online, so it's convenient, and it fits around your schedule. You'll fill out a quick questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time with no extra charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Pantheon today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/Pantheon.
And we're back.
We're back. Did I mention strong coffee? I'm a 5967. I'm just saying. After that, I'm so hyped up, and I'm all of you who recognize the reference to Witchy Poo will really like this. I'm a 5967. We'll post the link. Okay. Big sports time in New York right now.
Yeah.
We got two teams, right? Okay. I am admitting on national television. I have not been paying attention to baseball because my brain is shot. I had no idea the Nets were even. Not the Nets, the Mets. I had no idea. Holy crap!
Well, they just won a game the other night that got them a wild card spot. So
right, but I had no idea it was even at that point. You know how I knew it was that point? Because one of my guys on the corner, Daryl, shout out to Daryl, and my friend every morning get together and discuss Mets games, and I was like. Because, Mets fans are a special breed of fan.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Queens. Like, the old Shea Stadium was right up the road.
Yeah. That's the first baseball game I ever went to was Shea Stadium. With Tom.
I used to love the old Shea Stadium. It was great.
Tom Seaver. And my first pet was named Cleon Agee. I love them both so much. But anyway, so the Mets clinched a wild card in this phenomenal game. The Yankees are in the playoffs, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's the Knicks. Anything happened last week with the Knicks?
With the Knicks. I think we have to give us a rousing standing applause for Julius Randle.
All right, I'm going to stand and do it. Hold on. There.
Because, he kind of him coming back brought energy to the Garden again. He really was a spark that got the current energy going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really...
I'm going to miss him.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to miss him, and I'm really going to miss Dante DiVincenzo. I'm really going to miss him. Because, I like a quality white on a basketball team. Being the white supremacist that I am, I enjoy seeing a quality white, especially the idea of a redheaded Italian. That throws me. And I will never, ever, no New Yorker should ever forget that 3-point clutch shot, man. That was amazing. But, okay, so I was very upset because, I love basketball, as everybody listening to this knows, but I don't really know the game in the sense I can't tell you what this, that, and the other. And I really have the attention span of a gnat who does crack. So I can only pay attention to one team at a time, which are my Knicks. So I knew who Cat was. Obviously, I know the name, but I didn't know that he was somebody we've been trying to get for a million years. I just hope. So I was kind of like, I can't believe they're getting the Nova Knicks, the scrappy, the energy. And then Lucian said, well, DiVincenzo's wanted to get traded as soon as they get Mikal Bridges because he would be reduced to the seventh man then.
Right.
So he kind of wanted out because wasn't the rumor always that Jalen took that pay cut so that they could keep Randall and keep DiVincenzo, or is that just?
Well, no, it was so that they can get other pieces that they needed. And listen, the truth of the matter is, first of all, the trade is supposedly for Karl Anthony Towns. The deal is not done yet. Right. It's still not, which is why when they had the press day the other day, when the guys were asked, they were like, Carl who? Even though
that was crazy.
Carl who? Because the deal is not done. It's complicated because of salary cap and a third team is coming in. So it's not final. And listen, the Knicks needed a big man, right?
I know.
Karl Anthony Towns is from this area. He's a New Jersey boy.
Right.
It could be exciting, but it's like I have, I think I do. I have more love for Julius than I realized because I think he came back and really brought a spark to the garden. Was our first all-star in a really long time.
I know, right? People forget that. Yeah.
So that energy was exciting, but this is the business of it.
It's a business. It's an emotional thing. We all got upset with Linsanity, which was a great year. We all got we get emotionally attached, especially when you have a team that's been struggling for years. And the Knicks owned this town last year, full stop. Yep. They owned basketball last year, full stop. The reason the Knicks didn't make it is not because they weren't a good team. It's because there were injuries. Yeah. That's what stopped them. Whether they really did.
Their run, they were doing great, and everybody got injured.
Everybody. So, I mean, we won't know if they could beat the Celtics. This is hypothetical, but the point is, it wasn't that there was.
I kind of wish they had traded Mitchell Robinson.
I know. But everyone I've talked to, Jody Rosen, who hit me up and goes, "Cat, what do you think?" And one of my students said this too. When Cat is on,
oh baby, he's
when he's on, he's amazing, and he can shoot 3 points. Yeah. I'm just gonna miss. It's just an emotional thing. It's like when Porzingis left, but the difference is Porzingis wanted to leave. There's just something about Dante and Julius. To me, were very New York. They were very like, get out of the way. And the city embraced them, and they embraced us. And guess what? We'll embrace the next team, because if they start winning, we'll love them, and that'll be it. Right. And that's really the fickleness of. I mean, I can only think of one sports person who began and ended his career on the same team, and that's Derek Jeter. Everybody else has been traded at some point. Was Kobe always on the Lakers?
He was always a Laker.
All right, so 2 people out of everybody else has always at some point been traded or moved around, right?
And I think Udonis Haslem was always a Miami Heat. Yeah.
Oh,
he's another champion. There's some.
But shit, I'm just gonna miss them, and it's also nice to have a nice sports diversion. But we'll see. Opening, when does the season start? Like 3 weeks?
Yeah, there's a game this weekend. The first preseason, I want to say, is on Sunday.
I've been pricing tickets. When the Knicks play the Nets, it's cheaper. And even the cheapest in the scary section. Like, not the scary section we in, the super scary section.
How
it's
much?
Like $80. $80. And that's super scary up there. We weren't up that high. And they ain't going to move you down for a Knicks game.
No.
We're talking about Barclays, which is built like it's terrifying up there if you're up in this, what I call the scary section. This is you know what? Let's talk about Naomi first, since we're talking about scary, and then we'll go back to, I give less than a fuck about her. I mean, she's a great model, and she's a great model.
But evidently horrible at charity?
Why am I not surprised? Didn't she do jail time at some point?
No, she's not done jail time. She had community service. She did not go to jail.
All right. Which was
fabulous. Remember her community service? When she
came out with that outfit?
First of all, every day was like a fashion show. She's a model. But the last day, when she came strutting out in the gunmetal Dolce & Gabbana number, beautiful, and got into the Phantom to drive away. And the guy from the sanitation department is carrying her big bag. Clearly had her other. I was like, that is how you leave community service.
Yes, I think so. Listen, she's very good at her job. She was Nelson Mandela's goddaughter. I have no idea what that means. I've never gotten a warm and fuzzy vibe off of her. I don't think she's warm and fuzzy, but she has done something. She's been banned from a charity. Is it for mismanagement?
Well, her Fashion for Relief charity that she's had. Remember they used to do those fashion night out, and she would do the fashion shows all over, right. Fashion for Relief. Evidently, only 8% of the money raised went to any of the charities that it was supposed to go to. And they say that, one of her partners was paid a 6-figure salary, and a lot of money was spent on cigarettes, spa treatments, and high-end hotels for Naomi, who then...
I'm dying.
Who then, in her interview, this is my favorite part.
Please.
I will now do an interpretation for you guys at home. Everything I do for charity, every money that I've ever raised has gone to charity. I don't run my charity. We are looking into this. I heard about the probe. This is the first time I'm hearing of this.
Oh, I love this. So your name is on. Yeah. Oh, really?
It's like, what?
There's gambling in Casablanca? I know.
It's like, caller, you say what?
Right. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
You sound,
yeah. I get. Yeah.
that
Yeah. No
sounds
idea.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. That tracks. Yeah. Totally. I had no idea. Oh, there's I have a charity. Really? All right. Complete shift. Chris Christopherson. Because this leads into Streisand, I guess. Chris Christopherson. So, died the other day. Undisclosed clauses doesn't really. I would say this. Chris Christopherson, I think in so many ways, I mean, he's revered, rightfully so. A fantastic songwriter. Me and Bobby McGee, Sunday Morning Coming Down. Help me make it through the night. Fantastic song. Was part of the Highwaymen. His work with his then wife Rita Coolidge, just amazing. Great songwriter, great storyteller. A really good actor. Very, people always say, actor, musician. He was a good actor. He was actually very good. Star is Born, I guess, is his best known. But what I will remember about Chris Christopherson is that moment when Sinead O'Connor was performing at the Garden, and when she was being booed because this is right after she had ripped up the picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live, and he was the only one that came out, and he comforted her, and he basically was a human shield for the hostility she was getting. So he has done a lot of amazing things.
Literally the only one.
The only one.
And then they had a lifelong friendship after that.
Right. Yeah, and so for that, and there's you can read about, and there's a beautiful, I mean, like I said, his songwriting was just unparalleled and great, not a great singer technically, but just his work with Rita Coolidge is just.
I love him in her video, and This Is to Mother. He's the star in her video. No, an icon.
No, he really is.
The words are thrown around. That word's thrown around a lot. I mean, iconic. I mean, just for A Star Is Born alone with Barbra Streisand, let's just fucking give it up. You know what I mean?
He was great in that. He was great. And he's just also, spoke out on issues, was, someone involved in Farm Aid. He was very, very political, but not in a, he was a humanitarian. He was a good person and a great artist. And so I think we're having an earthquake. What's going on? There's like rumbling outside. Oh, no earthquake. Yeah, it's sad. It's, okay, either there's a garbage truck coming down my street or someone is playing the loudest drill music known to mankind. I'm opting for option number 2. Anyway, so that's very, very sad. And so best wishes. Yeah, listen, his albums with Rita Coolidge are just, I think Rita Coolidge is like the most undervalued, or she's like there in every major moment of music, and yet people seem to kind of forget about her. So anyway, and Barbra Streisand, who me and your mother have something in common. We love you. We put up with you, and we have no use for Barbra Streisand. So please.
My mother was like, I cannot stand the sound of her singing voice. I'm like, what planet are you from?
She's from the planet Amy.
I was like, who doesn't love the sound of Babs? But now there's a docuseries being directed by Frank Marshall, and they're getting unprecedented access to her archives, so it's going to be all-encompassing, and I'm very, very, very excited for that.
Is it going to be as long as that book of hers? Wasn't that book like 5,000 pages?
900.
That's like 5,000 pages.
Yeah.
Did you read it? You said you got it as a present. You didn't read it, right?
I got halfway through.
Okay, that works. That's fine.
I got halfway through. It's like when I'm going to see my mother read, and I can read it, so it's like I need to finish it.
Just to torture her? Look, Mom, I'm reading. Hey, Mom, nice to see you. I'm reading a book about a woman you hate.
She doesn't like Reba either, or Madonna.
Well, oh my God, I think I need to talk to your mother and become her best friend. I
just want to take a moment right now before we move on to say, today, October 1st, is the final concert, her bow from the stage, for French icon Mylène Farmer. And Mylène, I know I didn't get to see you.
Get over your goddamn fear of flying.
I know I didn't get to see you in concert, and I'm so upset that today is your bow from the stage. But I love that you're like, I'm going out on my terms. I'm going to do these last shows at the Stade de France. And then I'm going to ride off into the sunset and do whatever I do. Maybe make more albums, but I'm not doing any more tours. And Mylène, I love you.
All right, do you need a moment? I mean, I shouldn't, because I like people that are ridiculous too. I mean, I'm not saying she's ridiculous. I'm just saying it's hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
Okay,
I know it's ridiculous.
Oh, okay,
I know it's ridiculous. Okay. But you know me.
I know.
If you've got some questionable vocals, but a super high production budget and songs that make me sway and bop and dramatic ballads, I'm in there.
Every time I try to listen to her, I'm like, this is great. Where are the vocals? Is anyone singing here? It's sort of like the new Brian Ferry single. It's amazing, but where's Brian?
She's Mylène, not as bad as Brian. She sings on her records.
No, excuse me. I'm saying in terms of Brian Ferry's a god. But I know what you mean.
He's the talking god now because he talks in his records.
But
Are you going to go see your guys? Did you see I posted Gang of Four, their farewell U.S. tour?
I would love to. I have seen them a couple times, so I've seen them 3 times.
And they're playing 2 sets in the night. The first one that they're playing was is it called Emergency is the album? They're
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Jesus fucking Christ almighty. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be dragging Courtney into the 20th century.
So they're playing entertainment from front to back, and then the second set is like all the other hits and the cuts that the fans like. I think you should go.
Well, I mean, if I can, I have seen them. I saw them on their first U.S. tour, which was, to this day, I can actually remember. And then I saw them again at the American Indian Center in San Francisco. And then I saw them again at Irving Plaza about 15 years ago when they started getting back together. Listen, they're a great band. If you've never seen them, go see them. And Entertainment is a record that has held up. Jesus,
I'm going to listen to it today in Cobuzz.
It's got to be. Damn, that record came out in 1979, so it's old. It's 40 years old, 50 years old, 50 years old, right? I can't do math, but it's a great record, and they're a great group. And Hugo, of course, friend of the show. Hey, Hugo. So, yes. I don't know. I can't. Everything depends on how things go in a few weeks as to what my mood and financial status will be. But they're playing small. How big is Sony Hall? Like, what is
Sony
that?
Hall is the old PlayStation Theater. Remember that in Times Square where you go downstairs?
It's the one next to 1515. It's like right around the corner from 1515.
Right across. Okay. Yep.
Okay. All right. So how big is that? Not big.
Maybe 1,500, maybe 2,000.
That's all?
Yeah, it's like it's because I don't think it's 3,000. I don't think so.
See, that seems like a place they should play the Paramount. That would be that seems like wander down the street, wander back home.
Right.
Cool. Yes, they're a great
band.
The
place is attached to the school and the program that you work for, but they're like, no tickets for you.
No. They've changed. The students do get tickets.
Good. I mean, because come on.
I know. It is technically part of the school.
Yeah, yes, that felt really crazy to me. It's like, are you kidding? You have this music program here, and the kids part of it, they kind of work there sometimes, and it's like, but you can't go.
Yeah, I know. I'm making my wish list of who I'd like to go see. All right, what are you listening to / reading?
What am I listening to? I have been listening to Culture Club.
Oh, you know what I was listening to? You know what? Can I tell you something? Whose book was I reading when they were waxing on and on and on about There was some book I can't remember everything. Oh, it was a podcast. It was the Rock's Back Pages, and it was the Neil Tennant episode, and he was going on and on and on about the brilliance of Culture Club and how they get so overlooked and dismissed as like a novelty group, you know?
But they had great songs, great songwriting, and George was singing his fucking face off.
No, he was. They were a great group. I think that, they don't sound dated when you listen to them now.
No, the music still sounds amazing. I've been listening to Thompson Twins.
Oh, so you're having a moment.
I'm having a full moment. A full
I used to
full
really
moment.
love Thompson Twins. I always used to wonder, though, what the black guy was doing in the group. Like, what was his role?
Harmonies.
Oh, okay. Because he was playing I loved her, where she'd be like dancing with her little mallets in her hand, and then occasionally hitting a xylophone, and then dancing with her mallet.
That's like me figuring out 400 years later that PJ Morton is the black guy in Maroon 5.
No, you are. I know. Or naming a member of Hootie and the Blowfish.
And you know what else I've been listening to for some reason? Liza Minnelli's disco album.
I know exactly.
No.
Excuse me.
Not Results. The one that people never talk about from 1979 called Tropical Nights.
Okay, we know the reason you've been listening to it, though. I don't know why you're acting like this is suddenly some revelation. Like, I've only listened to classical music my entire life and Gregorian chant, and yet for some reason I'm listening to a disco record, an obscure disco record from a gay icon.
Right.
I don't know why I'm listening to it.
I have no idea. I'm telling you that when I turned 50, I woke up one morning, I was like, I want to listen to Lena Horne. I was like, oh my God, it's happened.
No,
I've never listened to Lena Horne. Why did I wake up at 50 and be like, I want to listen to Lena Horne? Like, where's that coming from?
Your black gay destiny has kicked in. It's the same reason I watch Masterpiece Theater Mysteries now. I used to mock that shit. Like, old people, stupid crap. No one's getting shot in the forehead. And now
you're like, what's happening on Fairy Town Murders?
Oh my God, Grantchester. It's incredible. It's so compelling. Call the midwife. I'm touched. I know, it's ridiculous. Okay, so here's something's going on with my Spotify. I just want to give you a heads up. It's acting up like crazy. The other day, I decided, you know what? I want to listen to some girls. I want to listen to Rolling Stones other than the 4 records I always listen to. Spotify will play every Rolling Stone record except for Some Girls.
Well, you know we have a Qobuz account, so you should go over there too.
All right, I'll go there. Yeah.
I sent you the logins and stuff. If you need it, I'll send it to you again.
Yeah.
It's it's great.
So
and
I went on YouTube.
It's all hi-fi audio too.
Oh, okay.
I went on
YouTube to listen to it, and it sounded like crap. But
I found that album in a $3 bin, and I bought it.
Some Girls?
Yep.
It's a great record.
It's a great record.
I mean, it's, people used to like, rock bands making disco. They're the only rock band I know that made a disco record that sounded good. Everybody else sounded like they had no idea what they were doing. I mean, are the lyrics like ridiculously racially insensitive? Yes, it's whatever.
Yes, but it's still a good album.
And it sounds like New York. Miss You was everywhere in New York in the summer. Everywhere. That was, that and Waiting on a Friend, which is a later album. And then I just finished reading, it's a really long book, but it's really good, The Freaks Come Out to Write, which is the oral history of the Village Voice from the beginning.
Oh, that sounds like a good one.
Phenomenal, but it's long. So it's from the very, very beginning days
to the end.
It's being sold, but it's a great, great book. And lots of great people are interviewed, lots of stuff about, Wayne Barrett. And you will never like Nat Hentoff again after reading this. Greg Tate, a lot of interviews. The woman, Trisha Romano, who worked at The Voice for a long time, did an exhaustive job. I mean, this must have taken forever to work on. But it's a really, really good book. And especially if you're, the New York Voice, come on, The Village Voice, come on. I mean, We all got our jobs through there. We all got our apartments through The Voice. Like I said, I had
the
already
entertainment section was top tier. Who was coming to town, all of the concerts.
Everybody,
I used to love to read the personals, all of the stuff.
A lot of stuff on Michael Musto.
His legendary, and then his blind item columns used to be the best.
The blind eye. I actually saw Michael Musto and the Must once perform at the Peppermint Lounge.
Oh,
he
nice.
had a Motown tribute band, basically. And he was like Diana Ross, or not dressed. I mean, he just was great. But anyway, but music-wise, there's, okay. I decided to listen to the Sophie record because we sort of were being a little callous. We were being a little callous about it when it first came out. We were kind of like, who is this person? We've never heard of her. Or heard of them, excuse me. And so I decided to give it a listen because they've been getting a tremendous amount of press. As you know, they died in a really kind of tragic freak accident a couple of years ago. So the name of the new album is, that makes it easy. It's just called Sophie. So it's not 100% my cup of tea. Some of it is really, really good. It's this sort of, how would you put it? I mean, you can definitely hear the influence on people like Charlie XCX and stuff like that. It's not 100% my thing. I was talking about, Sophie. It's not 100% my thing, but the review, like I said, you and I kind of were like, Sophie, I've never heard it, like, how can you say it's an influence? But now when I'm listening to it, it's not my kind of dance music. I will say that. But it is very much the sound of, the Charlie XCXs. And so it's worth it. The record is called Sophie. So it's definitely worth listening to, and it just got a rave review in the New Yorker for what that, I'm glad I just listened to it so I could say I listened to it, but they were very much way more influential than I realized at the time. So that was kind of cool. So I listened to that. That's about it. Anything else, sir?
Nope. And you know what it is, folks. Same bat time, same bat channel. Come back next week. We love you. Tell a friend, share, talk to us on our Facebook. We've been having a good time with you guys. I'm going to let you finish on one word, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.